So Stav, end of day one, 2011 Dragon European Championship here in Boltenhagen. A very tricky day, I gather.
Yes, it was. The conditions were very similar to yesterday, but because it was the first race of the championship, everyone was pushing for the start line. And we had some rain come through and a few squalls. And the race officer, he set a bias of a pin end by about 15 degrees. So that meant a lot of people tried to start down the pin. And when that happens, sometimes you get a general recall, which is what happened. Then he put up a black flag, and again we had a general recall, so unfortunately about 8 boats and 9 boats were sent home. Then we had another start, and in fact that was recalled as well, and another 8 or 9 boats were sent home. So before we even started the race, nearly 20 boats were already disqualified. However, we did get away on the next start, and I'm happy to say that the race winners are next to me now. Hans Liljeblad, who helms Sweden 358, and Theis, my very good friend, is tactician from North Sails. And we started actually ourselves with Ted at the pin end, and I know Theis and Hans were very close to us down that end, but I'll let Theis just talk you through how he made the initial jump on the fleet.
Yeah, the initial jump we made was about 2 or 3 minutes after the start. We was able to tack in front of the fleet, which was tacked to the starboard side of the course, and then about 2/3 up the beat we have another little up to left side of the course, and then we actually came in about 100 meters below the first mark, and then we was on the leading position. So the course was a lot of port sailing, and which makes it a little bit easier when you are in the lead because everybody's sailing the same way.
Yeah, the wind again was predominantly coming from the left-hand side of the course. And Hans, how does it feel sailing with such a great tactician? Does it make life easy for you?
It makes life a lot easier. Yes, it does. You can focus on the steering and on the boat speed much more than you can do normally. So that helps a lot.
And who's your third crew member, Hans?
The crew member is a Swedish guy, Staffan Larsvall, who is not here right now.
So we, after we rounded the top mark, then of course we had a very long run. Some boats made a mistake, in my opinion, of jibing, and because the breeze was predominantly on the left-hand side of the course, when you run down the course, you would then want to favour the right-hand side as you run down, and if you jibe set, it took you away from the breeze. So I think that that gave a bunch of about 5 of you a bit of a cushion, didn't it, on the rest of the fleet?
It makes a lot of distance to the leading boats. The only thing was that the boat 3, 4 and 5 really push hard up because they try to cover each other. And the French guy, he managed to slip away underneath that pack. So he sailed actually the shortest leg down, and he came around first in the bottom, and on the second beat we sailed alongside him and us.
Did you have any idea at that stage he was black flagged?
No, not at all.
No, so I mean you were racing.
Normally you were taken out at the first mark, so you don't
That's true.
sail
That's
the
true.
whole course.
Yeah.
I would say they should actually do that if it's possible.
Were they not notifying the boats on
No, not at all.
the weather mark?
No. So the first news that Luke Pilo had was when he crossed the finish line today, which
Deafening
should have been
silence.
fantastic. Fantastic jubilation, and he saw his number up on the blackboard.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, there is one discard in this series. It's not sudden death like a Gold Cup, providing we race 5 races, I think it is. The discard only kicks in after a 5th race is sailed. And with the weather forecast, actually, because you asked me yesterday what the forecast was, and it does seem to be dropping as the week goes on. Is that what have you seen that?
We have seen on.
So it wouldn't surprise me if actually today was one of our best sailing days. So I'm just going to congratulate these 2 guys again, because I know they're a fairly new team together. I think you started, was it last year here?
Yes.
It was your first time. Yes. And you came number 3? Two. Sorry, 2 overall.
Yeah.
Jesus. So now, obviously, guys, with the trans bunkers, favourites already having their discard, how would you now rate your chances?
I mean, you always have chances, and for sure, then if the wind gets really, really tricky, everything can happen, and you can easily make a discard then. But let's see how far we go, because for tomorrow, what we have seen until now, we have 5 knots, and
It's a long series and with the wind, so anything could happen.
Yeah.
And although it's a 7-race series, we do only have 5 days to get those 7 races in. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of trying to squeeze races in like that on a major championship. But what may happen is if we lose a day and we're trying to play catch up all the time, we might get to the scenario where we only get 4 races. And if that is the case, every race will count, there'll be no discard.
Yeah.
So although all these teams that were black flag today are thinking, oh well, that's our discard, let's just see what we can do for the rest of the week, depends on the weather, whether they get the chance to implement that discard.
Yeah. So we're looking at if the weather permits 2 races tomorrow, is that right?
Yeah, starting at 10 o'clock. And today's race was about 2 hours 20, well it was for these guys. Some of them behind were a little bit longer than that. But it was actually, in fairness, I thought it was a great course. It covered the full area that we've got out there. I said yesterday that it's a big bowl out there, and depending on the wind direction, the maximum length you can get is about 2 miles. But the race obviously did a good job, and it was a fair course, and the best team won on the day.
Well, congratulations, guys. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks as always, Stav, and we'll be back again tomorrow.
Okay, see you then.